Stream Maria Diane Ventura's award-winning movie, Diene Farbe, on Amazon Prime.
And the podcast will begin in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ladies and gentlemen, oh my God, na-excite naman ako bigla. How about a big round of applause? Award-winning director, Miss Maria Diane Ventura.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me here.
Kung alam lang nila, ang tagal na natin nag-uusap, siguro isang oras at kalahati na tayo nag-uusap.
Oo nga. Baka
diba?
more. Oo.
More.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry guys, medyo off the record lahat yon. Pero marami tayong on the record because the reason why we really are excited to have you, I have a daughter.
Yeah.
And she's 6 years old. And this is the perfect time to actually just let everybody's daughter do whatever they want.
Yeah.
And follow their dreams.
Yeah.
Diba? Mga panahon ng mga nanay natin, hindi, mag-aasawa ka, ganyan-ganyan, sana makita ka ng taong. But you are one of those women who are inspirational.
Wow.
And your journey wasn't easy. Ang ganda ng ngiti. I like it. Kasi totoo eh, di ba? Na it doesn't show, but you're battle scarred. You've been through tough times, and yet here you are. We'll talk about your movie in a bit. 22 awards and counting.
Thank you. Yeah.
Diba? And it's good to have you here. But let's start from the beginning. What made you do what you did, and what brought you to where you are now?
Wow. Medyo loaded question. But thank you so much, first of all, for having me here. I'm really grateful for the invitation and for the warm introduction. Happy to be talking to you guys. How did it all begin? I started out in music,
High school.
Yeah, since I was in high school, I was fortunate enough to meet Ellie, and
the Ellie that we're talking about is Mr. Ellie Buendia.
Yes. I met him, and then we worked together, and then I was able to kind of work in production in music, and then I think it was a good start for production, and I wouldn't be where I am now without my experience in the music industry in the Philippines, because it really kind of helped me learn how to collaborate with artists, like very talented people. It made me I just knew how to deal with artists because I was working with like the best of them.
Yes.
And so by the time that I had time again for myself, because I dedicated my life at that time to, the music industry. Pero syempre, we got to a point where I could already kind of relax, and things were, running on, was running on its own.
Kumbaga may momentum na.
May momentum na. So I could like kind of oversee from afar. Then I decided to embark on, this other adventure, which is filmmaking, which is not so different from the music industry, actually. Like, I'm still working with talented people, and thanks to my experience, it's easy to navigate na din.
So, okay. So, ang ganda, di ba? Loaded answer from a loaded question. So, ang dami natin napulot for an outline. So, simulan natin sa una niyang sinabi. So, game. In the beginning, you met Ellie. You were a girl with dreams. And here is this, in one of the most influential guys or artists of the 90s. And siya seasoned, ikaw bagito. But yet, hindi mo tinanggap na greenhorn ka. You had the confidence, maybe not the audacity, but the confidence to actually move forward and take risks.
Yeah. I guess I never saw Ellie as like I don't see hierarchies,
right.
So, and also actually when I come from a very sheltered.
I was gonna say.
Yeah, I come from a very sheltered environment. I lived in a bubble. We actually had hindi masyadong hindi kami masyadong open sa industry, right. or sa entertainment
Kaya
industry.
hindi mo nakikita yung perception ng tao sa...
Yeah. I mean, I knew of them, of course.
Yes.
Yeah, everybody knows of them. But when I met him, like, I never considered him different.
Yeah.
So I always and luckily also that was kind of. I think he also comes from the same place that when we met, like we saw each other from the
As an
same
equal footing.
yeah,
Parang
same
ganun.
parang same level. He never, and that's how I see everyone also. So I guess I was also lucky because he never saw the age difference or like the fact that I was still, starting out. He trusted my opinions from the get-go, and that's how I think that's how I was also able to establish myself because people saw the trust and people saw that. So it was may reciprocity. Yeah.
So, binanggit mo kanina, you grew up in a bubble.
Yeah.
How big was the family bubble?
We're 13 in the family, including my parents. Yeah.
So 11 siblings.
Yes,
11 kids.
11. Yeah.
You're one of 11.
Yes.
Pang ilan?
9th to the eldest, 3rd to the youngest.
How did you compete? Was there competition for attention?
Yes, for sure. I was in love with my mother. She had like 10 other kids to look after, and I always felt like I needed to,
Assert.
assert or
okay.
like, prove myself. But, she never made us, she was a workaholic, pero I never felt like she had no time she always had time for us, even though she was working. So, but I think the competition came from me lang. She has to love me, the most because I love her the most. So it was always like this. Pero I think like even coming from that kind of background where I had a lot of, like there were a lot of members in the family and I had to learn how to deal or like to connect with siblings that are like different ages, different
How old's
personalities.
the eldest? Sorry, na-excite ako bigla. How old's the eldest?
How was the eldest?
How old?
She's I think 16, 17 years,
Older than you.
Older
so
than me.
generation talaga,
Oh,
no?
yeah. So, but yung influences ko then, like, I knew music from
Right.
different, different genres, different periods, and also, different personalities I was dealing with them. So it was, I guess, easy for me to navigate the industry, dealing with different people kasi I was already kind of, prepared for it.
I met one of your siblings, si Don. Shout out.
Hi, Don.
And the family.
Yeah.
Is he younger than you? Older than you?
Younger.
Younger than you.
Younger.
Wow. So
Yeah.
pang ilan siya? Pang 10th?
10th. Yeah.
Tapos may dalawa.
May isa pa.
May isa pa. Oh, 11 nga, no?
Yeah.
So, growing up, and sa tingin mo ba, did this have a big impact on kahit nasa bubble kayo, madaling lumabas at madaling mag-navigate with people because you had those steps you needed to overcome to get to the CEO of the family?
Yeah. I think I learned how to. No, I mean I'm not gonna say manipulate my way, but you know how to
Yes.
to talk to people. Their triggers. How to charm them. So I guess I don't want to seem like a manipulative
No.
person though. Like it's always in the best interest of everyone, and not to say that I've always been like this either. It's just
Of course, it comes with age.
it comes with age.
Yes. Pero maganda yung sinabi mo, triggers.
Yeah.
Not everybody has the ability to determine where the triggers are good or bad.
Yeah.
Would you say that innate sa'yo to discern people's triggers?
I think easy. Parang it happens on an intuitive level. It's not premeditated like, oh, this person is like, sometimes you can feel energy.
Yes.
So you talk to them and then, like maybe unknowingly, I immediately know their energy or like what kind of person they are. And then you not assume, but like basically you calibrate based off of
Alam mo
that.
na ganun tayong dalawa, right? Na,
Meron, nga.
di ba,
Yeah.
like hindi ko na nga maalala how or when, but
Yeah.
we met and through social media para may connection to make it easy for us to communicate with each other.
Yeah.
Diba?
Yeah.
May ganon eh. Nakakatuwa. So now, here you are, bigla kang sumubsob sa music. Nung time na yon, was music really the goal? What was your dream when you were a kid?
I mean, I don't know. It was either business because like my parents were business. My mom was a businesswoman. My dad was a businessman. But I always loved filmmaking, and I don't want to.
Filmmaking na talaga bata.
Filmmaking na bata pa. It was really my first love. Pero of course, like I love music. Actually, I think that I underestimate the role of music in my life because it's just always there. You know, you tend to.
Yes.
But yeah, looking back, I think it was just as important. But I didn't want to call it a goal because it just happened organically. Like I wasn't looking for it. You know, I think it was Ellie that said like, you know, the kind of work you do, you either you either look for it or it finds you. So I think with music, it found me. With film,
Hinanap mo talaga.
hinanap ko siya.
So yung film bug, were you one of those people? I have to ask, no? Were you one of those people who said, I want to be behind the camera? Or were you one of those people who said, you know what, I'm gonna be in front of the camera first and then behind the camera?
I think, you know, like being an actor, it's such a fascinating job, you know, to like assume different personalities. But I've always felt more comfortable behind the scenes somehow. So from the get-go, I knew I wanted to maybe work. I work better behind the camera.
Behind the camera.
I don't think I would have that generosity of, you know, being that expressive, you know, knowing my personality. Parang I prefer to keep private. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, not that the actors are not, you know, not private people, pero I just, you know.
Okay. So ngayon na nakakatuwa sa'yo, I don't know if you noticed this, but I'll just call it out. Again, may safe word tayo. Banana. So,
Banana.
Hindi pa nag-uumpisa banana na. So, eto, meron kang music career as a business partner of Ellie Buendia.
Yeah.
Meron kang film career as a multi-award winning director. You're a mom to a son who's equally as talented as both the parents.
Yeah.
And you love coffee.
Yes.
Is there ever a time na nakaupo ka lang at sinasabi mo sa sarili mo, wow?
I have a lot of time still. I still find a lot of time to, you know, be introspective. Pero I think I'm more wow in the fact that I've been so fortunate to be working with immensely talented people like Ellie and Ion and like, you know, but and even luckier nga, and I always say to call them family, you know. But so yun, I think I'm just fortunate to be working with these people. And even with filmmaking, I guess, you know, my job as a director also is to kind of make sure that everyone is, you know, giving their best to the project and like, you know, appreciating that talent. So I guess I'm doing my work if like everyone else is doing their best. Their best.
And their job. Yeah.
And so, yeah, it's just, I'm in awe of everyone, that every artist that I've ever collaborated with.
So later on we'll talk about collaboration, but right now yung introspectiveness ng career mo while talking to you, parang nagta-transfer sa akin yung nagiging empathetic lang ako sa journey mo, kaya na-excite ako. But ngayon na-realize ko sa music, it was all guts. You went to school for film eh.
Yeah.
Pero let's start first with the music. Here is a newbie pumasok sa industriya na wala siyang idea, and you were able to navigate your way without really saying what can't be said, di ba? It wasn't handed to you eh. You had to fight for your place in the music industry. Can you share yung beginning nung pagsimula mo? Because how old were you?
I think I was, when I started, I was
music.
fresh out of maybe 16 or
16. And so kakato ka sa pinto ng mga record executives.
Yeah.
How do you demand time?
I think maybe I was at a point of desperation at that time because I had like I had a family to provide for. So that was my motivation. It wasn't, it was, you know, medyo on a gut level. medyo gutsy siya. But actually, from my end at that time, also, I was working with someone that was genius also. So, it wasn't, I was basically, like on behalf of him. So I had that confidence came from who I represented also. And, yung desperation joke yun. Pero a little bit also because, of course, that was also part of it.
You had to want it talaga eh.
Yeah,
diba?
I had to.
And the reason why I'm asking.
And that was the, major motivation. Kaya I didn't care about anything else like pride or whatever. I just, had to do it.
So
I had no other choice.
Sana nadampot nyo yun, guys. Ha? Yung I had no other choice. Kasi pag marami kang choices, minsan tatamarin ka na talaga to move forward. Pwede naman to, di ba? Pero yung sa'yo, yung sinabi mo, yung pride, tinanggal mo yon. Coming from let's just say, coming from totoo naman, prominent family, and here you are rolling up your sleeves. Did you see your entrepreneurial skills put to the test? Kasi business mo na yan eh. Like, handling Ellie Buendia, that's the product, that's the brand.
Yeah.
And now, you have to run this business, which is called family, di ba?
Yeah. I mean, I was also, again, lucky that my parents were, kind of like, I was learning from them, how they, how they conducted themselves, how they operated, and also my background of, being able to communicate with different kinds of people. I think that's what really helped me kind of navigate this business, plus this like motivation to really be able to provide. I think all that combined, and also with the trust of the artist also, it kind of really...
Wow. Kaya ako nakangiti. Tanda mo, nasa isip ko, this is a 16-year-old kid or a 17-year-old kid trying to find her way in an industry na medyo cutthroat.
Yeah.
Diba?
It was.
So now, you're inching your way. You're moving up the ladder. What was the social climate like? Did you find yourself having less friends or more friends?
In the beginning, it was very challenging because, I think everyone knows like what happened. So, there were a lot of people that were against, and I was met with a lot of resistance.
Pushbacks, mga ganun.
Yeah, mga pushbacks. Pero like I said, like I just didn't mind, what the chatter and, just kept moving forward knowing that who I was representing was, worth all that risk, and also like, negotiated my way with that kind of in mind. So just...
Ang galing! Now, decision making, yan. Other people are indecisive.
Mm-hmm.
Ikaw, sinabi mo, act of desperation, dinadownplay natin yon. But during those moments, decisions have to be made.
Yeah.
Decisions that could change the course of your life. Hindi lang sa'yo, pati kay Ion, pati kay Ellie nung time yun. Kasi tatlo lang kayo talagang nakadikit eh. And you had to make decisions sometimes on the fly. How do you make decisions? Because not everybody listening or watching are able to commit to a decision.
Yeah, I think it's also hard, but if the common goal is in the best interest of the family, so I think that makes things easy and
so priority talaga, no?
Almost instantaneously. Then yeah, of course I have to, like what is best for the
unit,
the family, and bigger picture. Then sometimes you have to see, the entirety of it and not just like that specific moment, so just
my God,
looking at it from a bigger picture.
Alam mo kung ba't ako na-excited, natutuwa, guys? Alam mo bakit, Diane? Because the way you're describing stuff, big picture lahat yan, precursor talaga sa pagiging director mo eh. Because not everybody sees the big picture eh. And just hearing it from you now, talagang ang sarap eh. Parang kang coach. Alam mo yun, nakikita mo yung buong playbook and not just one specific play.
Yeah.
And talent yun eh. Yun ang nakakatuwa eh. So now, eto na, di ba? Nakabuild na kayo ng momentum. How easy was it for you to actually know it was time to let go of the music part of stuff and enter into film? Bago mo sagutin yan, we'll be back after this word from our sponsor.
Okay.
Stream Maria Diane Ventura's award-winning movie, Diene Farbe, on Amazon Prime.
Yon, and we're back. Diane? Oh my God, nakakatuwa to. Before the break, pinag-usapan natin, I'll be jumping back and forth. So wag kayong nag-change topic na. Hindi, this is a conversation. So, hindi ko tuloy mainom yung kape ko on camera dahil loko-loko tong si Jill. Sige na nga, inumin ko na nga. Show, ayan, di yan ang ginawa. My God, napaka-vain nung. So, music, right? Tumatakbo na. Of course, pat on the back. Pero ito talaga yung passion eh. Ito talaga yung how? What was the conversation like between you and Ellie na I'm gonna do this?
I think by the time that I, started filmmaking, I of course had to make sure that everything was already set up with them, that I didn't have to worry if something, so I had to make sure that they were set, before even thinking about,
Yes.
my own kind of passions. So, we didn't really have to. Didn't have to ask for permission. And although, of course, like I mentioned it, and it was always, very supportive.
Yeah.
So, and they've always been supportive from the
So
very
eto na.
start. Yeah.
America na. Bye-bye Philippines. So, alam mong back to zero yung gagawin mo. You were ready for it?
I think so. Kasi it was also like I mentioned before, I also had to, fix Eon's papers. So, it all was part of
A bigger plan.
it was all part of the bigger plan. Parang hitting so many birds with one stone. So there yun nga, like I said, wala nang ibang choice, and I had
How
to
was
do
it like migrating to the States?
It was
Isa-set up ko lang ha. And again, banana ang safe word natin. Ha? At a young age, you technically had to migrate in your own country because different, nag-change lifestyle ka eh. Tapos, after what, 12 years, biglang, was it 12 or 13 years bago ka nag-migrate?
yeah. Something like
Something
this.
like that,
yeah.
di ba?
15 years.
15 years, biglang change environment na naman. Ibig sabihin, back to zero na naman.
Yeah.
So, anong feeling ng pagdating mo? East Coast, West Coast, where did you go?
I went to the East.
So, how did it? I mean, nobody's perfect. No, just kidding.
Yeah.
Pero, anong feeling when you went to
Yeah.
New York?
I think it was, you expect things to be different. Of course, growing up, I was like, oh my God, New York, it's a place where I want to live eventually. And you think that once you move, things are just going to be exciting. I'm not saying that it wasn't, but reality hits you as well. So there's the things that creep up on you, like loneliness, like feeling like you don't belong. Kasi you realize now, oh my God, I was born and raised in the Philippines. Like, I'm attached to that culture. Also,
Yes.
I'm attached to my family. And now I'm in an entirely new kind of, parang new set of
Was it the
people.
first time for you to actually be technically, I'll use the quote, alone? Kasi you're detached from family.
Yeah, I think, yes.
That was the first time.
That was the first time. That was the first time I slept, it was in a house where it was just me. So, yung mga pangs of loneliness and being away and questioning
Totoo, di
who
ba?
you are, questioning who you are.
exactly,
Like,
right.
who am I without them? Or like, what am I going to do now? And who are these people surrounding me? And, all these things, like, and I think that's when I started also writing about, Diene Farbe, you know.
Yes.
Because it was, I felt like that expressing myself through writing was cathartic at that time. Kasi there was so much things going on in my head
So
that I had to
nag-journal ka?
express it. Ang journaling ko is trying to identify with experiences of other people, then I don't feel alone. So, so I guess it was also through talking, through imagining my characters and what they were going through that was similar to what I was also going through.
So character development. You were
separately.
taking, oh my God.
Yeah, and then sometimes I let my characters go through the brink of, things that I would not dare go to. I would let them go there para they experience it.
So yung mga characters mo, existentially speaking, buhay na sila sa isip mo pa lang.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Mm-hmm. They were born out of my own experiences or thought processes.
Yes.
I mean, of course, still fictional and I'm not them.
Right.
But they're, byproducts of...
Okay. So, maganda yan. Now, so itong mga character, let's segue konti lang muna sa Diene Farbe. Did I say it right? I said it right?
Yeah,
I said
it
right.
perfectly.
So ngayon, yung character development, are there two protagonists? There are two protagonists, no?
Mm-hmm.
Nung dinevelop mo sila and you're saying they are byproducts of what you were going through.
Yeah,
paano mo dinevelop ang character? Did you have to write it down? Pati yung subtext nila, did you have to put it on paper? Did you index card? What was...
Yeah, I didn't index card. Maybe I should have, it would have made it more organized. But what I did was sometimes... there are moments where you can't write, So sometimes there are days where I have to force myself. And those days actually are sometimes really the best because sometimes you even surprise yourself. You're like, oh, this happens to them. Oh, I didn't see that happening. So sometimes even happens.
May time out ako because... Sorry. When you say you have to force yourself, that is a parallel to the 16, 17-year-old girl who had to force herself to do certain things, not only to survive, but to thrive. Mm-hmm. And then years down, a decade plus and a half later, here you are again, doing it again.
Yeah.
Different genre. Would you say that that's innately you? Is that your nature? Because those are formulas for success.
Oh, wow.
You're having to do it, not because you feel like doing it, but because you know you have to do it.
I think I mentioned this before in one interview, like people think it's courage or confidence, but I was just going after what I felt compelled to go after. So powerful. It was so powerful that it ate up my logic. It ate up kasi 'di ba film, it's an entertainment industry. Why would you get into it, 'di ba? It's like I wasn't thinking money. I wasn't thinking, sustainability. Of course, I have to think that also we cannot be starving artists either.
Correct.
But at that time it was just, some concepts and some stories felt just so powerful that it kind of takes over. And even on those days where I have nothing to say, I have to push myself to do it because I know something will come out of it if you really push.
Nai-inspire ako. Nai-inspire talaga ako dahil ang nakikita ko common sa mga taong katulad nyo is consistency. Yung may conviction to do the things they have to do to push the again, sinabi mo kanina, keep moving forward. Alam mo ba, yun ang hashtag namin.
Oh, that's a beautiful hashtag.
Kaya when you said parang, oh my God. Okay. So characters, writing, days that you don't want to write. Mm-hmm. Ito na pala ang start ng Diene Farbe. And it wasn't supposed to be in German, or was it really supposed to be in German?
No, when I was writing it, like I said, I just felt compelled to write this story. Parang hinahash out ko yung mga, how sometimes there are conflicting ideologies that you have in your head. But they're both polar opposites. But then, how do you reconcile conflicting idea? So it was like a conversation between myself and between the characters.
Yes.
Parang naging meta siya,
yes.
diba?
Oh my God!
Yeah, so it was just that. It just had to be written.
So ngayon, sinusulat mo na. So ngayon, nung sinusulat mo, may art na ba siya? Or tinatapon mo lang siya sa mix?
I think it's a combination of premeditation and spontaneity. Like, somehow you already know the story before you even start.
Yes.
So you start, sometimes you already know the ending. Or not, but meron na.
So parang songwriting din, di ba?
Parang meron nang siyang structure.
Yes.
And then you just have to fill in the gaps in between. And then that's where, yeah.
Did you know it was gonna be a hit?
No. I mean, sometimes I still don't think, it
Seryoso?
is. Yeah, I mean.
Di ba siya self-deprecating yung gano'n kasi? You really, after 22 and counting awards, hindi po pa rin...
I still think I'm just fortunate and super lucky. But also at the same time, I have my, the collaborators and the talent that was in this film was really great. Yung dynamic of all the people so I have them to thank for also.
Okay, ito na. So now, meron ng idea, may grasp, sinulat na, may script na ba at this time? Meron na, no? Okay. It's something to have that there. Now it needs to be tangible. Kailangan ng maipatupad. That's another hurdle.
Yeah.
Because now you need funding.
Yeah.
Now you need a team.
Yeah.
You need people to believe in this thing that you already believe in.
Yes, of
So
course.
it's the same thing all over again.
Yeah.
Diba?
Yeah.
Let's talk about that. Tapos i-relate natin dun sa ginawa mong success din sa Pilipinas. Because sa Pilipinas, you're a kingmaker.
They were already kings to begin
I
with.
know, I understand. But then again,
I just had to remind them, but not even remind. But
ang
they
cute talaga
already
when
know.
you say that. Yeah,
Yeah.
but yes, Diane. So, ito ngayon, this is not an Ellie Buendia project. There is no brand. Ito lang ang this is pure you. Yung una madali eh, because tulad nga na sinabi mo, you just had to remind them that this is a king. These are characters in your head.
Yeah.
So, wow. Pag inisip ko ngayon, para pati ako napapatahimik eh. Because what was going through your head? Dito na, okay, I have a product.
Yeah.
How do I bring this out into...
The funny thing is, I actually forgot about it, So I wrote it and then I forgot about it. And then there was just a point in my life where parang I just... I was feeling very lost. There was a moment where I was feeling lost, and then I remembered I had a script, and I did a
So
film.
nakatago lang to sa baul.
Nakatago lang siya.
Because this is not the only movie you've done eh. Marami kang may mga ginawa ka na eh.
Yeah.
So nakabaul lang to.
Yeah, and then parang I remembered it again, and that was at that point where I felt lost, where I also felt I had nothing to lose. So I was like, I will make this film, and then everything I did after that, singular in purpose na this has to be done. And there was nothing that could have stopped me at that point, because yung will ko was like, every day I will do something to inch me closer to that goal. So I reached out to a friend of mine that I went to school with at NYU during taking up, like one of the elective courses that I took up for film. And then she happened to not...
Ano to? Wala lang, talaga reach out lang na parang, hey. Parang
No, we were hanging out,
Okay.
but we weren't talking about film.
Right.
I just knew that she was working in
Right.
films. So, basta I just told her. And we worked in like student projects in the past. But now, she was actually quite, established wherever she was, And then I said, are you doing anything? And she was like, no. It's like, how would you like to do this project? And then in the beginning, it was in English, so she, she naturally assumed that we were going to do it in
English?
America. In America, because it was in English.
Correct.
But somehow I was in Germany before, and it made an impression on me. And then parang, on an intuitive level, I had to go back to Germany somehow. And then I went back to, because the film is about, it's a coming of age film about...
What was your spoiler sa mga tao?
Walang spoiler, but the movie, just the gist of it,
Oh,
like
sige.
it's a coming-of-age film about two adolescents trying to break free from a predetermined existence in a small town from Germany, and then moving to Barcelona, thinking that moving to a bigger, place, or like a city would mean like a better kind of life, and only realizing afterwards what they were trying to escape from was something that they found within them, and that life was not as easy as it was presupposed, which was also somehow parallel to what I was going through when I moved to. And then when I picked up on it again and decided to do the film, I was like, okay, let's take it a step further. Let's do this in Germany.
And that's another risk.
Yeah, in another culture, because already I spent my 10 years in America. So it was both logical, not practical, of course. Logical in the sense na, let's push the boundaries, let's push the experience and make myself go through it again by going to shoot it in another film. And also at the same time, I was thinking...
Hindi ka naman masokista.
Hindi naman. Pero at the same time, I was also thinking na, if I do it in America, I'll be competing against, hundreds of thousands of other filmmakers. And I thought, like, if I established a name in Germany, for example, or like in another place, and then come here, then later when I work here, people are going to be like, okay, she worked in different, places,
So parang yung explanation ko sa DreamWorks.
Oh, yun nga eh. That's what I was saying, that they want to make people like, they want to establish them first in Asia and then in Europe and before bringing them to America.
So now you know.
Yeah. So I was just thinking about this. Pero also at the same time, this was not super like premeditated. It also was happening on an organic, intuitive level na parang let's go to Germany. And of course, like my other friend, I don't know, she also had nothing to lose at that time because she was in between jobs and she was like, yeah, let's go for it. I was like, we don't know anyone from Germany.
Alam mo na, this is another ode to your 17-year-old self, no? Again, yung mga nothing to lose mo, yung mga yung guts eh. And I hope our listeners and viewers are picking up on this na sometimes you just have to go for it eh, no?
Yeah, because sometimes when I know it sounds cheesy and then they're going to think it's a law of attraction thing, and it's not. I'm not preaching. Yun nga eh, from the very start, when I say like, I don't see any difference between people, so I don't put them on a pedestal. I'm like, okay, whenever I see someone succeed, like I said, I mentioned it one time before, like I don't see them as an exception. I see them as a possibility. Parang if that person can do it, di ba? I can.
Ikaw rin.
Sometimes yung mga moments ko of introspection, like before that we were talking about, na parang in awe, not of what I did, but like that. Like I did it because anyone can. So parang if I can do it, anyone can. And I can also I can replicate what I just did.
Kumbaga, di ba, parang sabi ko nga eh, let's say right now, I am feeding off your energy because everything you're saying is inspiring me.
Thank you.
And hopefully, when I succeed, it inspires you, who by the way inspired me. So parang meta, pero naglulup na.
Yeah.
But yun eh, di ba?
Yeah.
And then you grow together as a community.
Yeah, and that's what I want everyone to realize their potential is in everyone.
Yes.
They just have to tap into it, sort of. Like, I am not special. I am not different. And that's where the real confidence comes from, that I know that anyone.
Pero alam mo kung anong binitawan mo na kailangan ma-pick up nila? Yung action word na sinabi mo. You just tapped into it. Kasi yun ang nakita kong ginawa mo simula nung bata ka hanggang punta ka ng Amerika. Pero Germany. So pag-usapan natin yun. Talagang, sino tong friend mo na to?
Si Chloe Rice, and thank you so much.
Si Chloe Rice, okay.
Shout out to you.
Shout out. Nung sinabi mo na Germany tayo, anong sabi niya?
I think parang she just went along with it. Yun nga, may trust din eh.
Pero nung sinabi mo, hindi, we'll use the vernacular.
Yeah.
Mag-aalaman tayo.
I guess yung initial thought niya was like, why do we have to put ourselves through that? Let's just make it here. Kasi ita-translate pa natin eh. Tapos, just actually...
Do you speak?
No.
Deutsch?
I mean, Deutsch. Ich kann nicht.
Ang alam ko lang is ich liebe dich. Ayun. Dati nagpapakita mga ganun. I love you. Okay. So, pero do you know?
No,
Speak.
I mean, I had to learn conversational, I can talk to, like to order food or to get a cab, I can, especially when I first moved there, I knew nothing about,
Tama ba yung translation ng 99 Loft Ballons?
oh,
Tama ba yung translation? Hindi?
yung sa yung
Yung
sa song,
song?
I have to double check
sige.
that, okay?
Okay.
But for sure, yeah. And then as German,
I know.
She, may
Di na,
approval na yan.
oh,
Yeah.
So, okay, so German, pinalitan mo na yung, oh my God, Diene Farbe. Which means
Your color.
Your color.
Yeah. So, I mean, when we were thinking about it, oh my God, we're going to make a film in Germany, and then we're going to do it in the next 2 months, and our script is still in English. So at that time, I couldn't wrap my head around it, and there was a part of me that was like, is that possible? Because everyone was thinking, is that possible? But then like, parang, yeah.
So is that possible?
I mean, I was working on, sabi ko, I think we can. I feel we can. And then everyone involved was like, okay, we're all working based on your feeling, based on a feeling. But I think at the end of the day, yung conviction also, sometimes when you really believe in it, you can
Okay.
you can influence people.
Yung script na basa ni Chloe to, in English, right?
Yes.
And it moved her, right?
She liked the idea of it.
So now, kayong dalawa, you telling Chloe, we're gonna translate this. We're gonna have this translated in German.
Yeah.
Were you crossing your fingers na sana pagbalik sa inyo, ma-move ulit kayo?
I think the whole experience of even just making the film moved us. Kumbaga, we were at the point, parang naging analogous din or parallel din yung experience namin dun sa experience ng boys.
Wow.
Like coming of age
Yeah.
din kami. We're feeling
Yes,
lost.
yes.
We moved to another country to try our luck. And then, we both realized, oh shit, it's not so easy. But, but we still, we still kept doing it. Meta talaga eh. So,
Wow.
we just,
So,
and we did. She did.
What was the first step? So
She
finally, okay, Germany, yung script na translate na, and then what was the next step after that?
Casting director, we reached out, of course, like limited yung budget, independent eh. We reached out to a couple of them, and then there was one, I think our story resonated with her. And she was basic. She helped us a lot. Even the person that translated the script, the only person we knew from Germany was Andrew, and he was a sound engineer also for film, and Chloe worked with him
Andrew, yeah.
before, and then she was like saying like, do you know anyone in the industry like that who could? And then he was like, okay, first of all you have to translate this, and then he referred us to his friend, and then we submitted the script to her, and when she accepted it, and she is actually an established filmmaker in Germany. Her name's Hella Wenders, and yeah, she took on the project. She said,
Wow.
okay, I want to do this, and she had like. She had clout. I mean, she was established, she was respected. And for her to have said yes to the project, that gave us confidence also.
Yes.
So, we went to the casting director. She already knew who Hella was. And then...
So si Hela na green light ng project?
No. Hindi naman na green light, pero she decided to get on board.
Nice. And
it was Chloe and I that decided
Okay.
to green light the project by doing it.
So, now, andyan na, Hela, Chloe, you, Andrew. Sino yung casting director?
Anna Davila, and she's also respected in her and she was the one that said yes even with our like limited budget, kasi nga she was like she's also a woman, like an immigrant that had to fight her way, and she saw us also struggling.
Yes.
She was like, I like you guys, you have guts, I can see myself in you. So she was like, I will help you, and she gave us she connected us with like the best talents in Germany.
And so si Anna ang nag-pitch sa mga actors to audition actually.
Yeah, but she pitched it well for established actors to actually even audition.
Galing, no?
So some of the people that we met, they didn't have to audition.
Talagang yun na yun. This part is
Oo.
meant for you. Parang ganun na yung dating.
Parang, I mean, they had like actually big studios offering them projects, and they auditioned dun sa project
Wow.
namin, which was so small comparatively, but Anna really sold it. Like, this story is like you should.
So
yeah.
now, here you are. Okay? Okay, ready. Day one. What was it like nung first shooting day?
First shooting day.
Before you go there, si JJ Sumaselos. Commercial break muna tayo.
Stream Maria Diane Ventura's award-winning movie, Diene Farbe, on Amazon Prime.
And we're back. Direct. Ayan na. Direct na. Di ba? Eto na. First shooting day.
First shooting day.
On a limited budget. May language barrier. May translator kayo on set?
At that time, I think wala. Yeah. But we had like a 2-week rehearsal with the actors, and which is why we knew kind of, and I wrote the script, so kind of.
Pero you wrote the script in English.
I know. At first, I thought it was going to be like it was going to be difficult, but in the end, it actually helped me focus more on the, kasi sometimes when you write a script, you get so attached to the words. It becomes your baby. Kailangan verbatim and stuff. But since, obviously, like I'm not fluent in vernacular. I had to focus on their acting and
Correct.
kind of, focus on their chemistry, which is actually more important than the words if
Hindi
you
ko
think
natanong
about
pala
it.
yun, yung
Yeah.
chemistry. What did you feel nung inayos ni Ana yung casting? Naramdaman mo yung chemistry ng mga actors mo kagad? Did they come alive?
Yun nga eh. Actually, during the audition process, we not only auditioned individually, we also paired them
Combination,
off.
oo.
Kasi this movie banked on a friendship of two men, and this had to be genuine. This
Right.
could not be, so we also had to find two people who we saw na parang
Magkiklik.
na parang and we found that. Actually, I was really happy about that edition, and it made me realize so many things because I had like a set person in my head about
Correct.
who my character. While I was writing, you have like a set person in your head, or like
Did it closely resemble the person in your head?
Actually, for Carl,
Uh-huh.
for Carl's character, there was one person that came in, and Yannick came in, and he was very different from the Carl that I imagined on set. He brought about like a sensitivity to the character that I never actually pictured.
And you were okay with that?
No, he changed my mind. So
Galing,
it made me
oo.
realize na parang
Pwede pala
someone
to.
can change your mind with their performance. So you also have to keep an open mind and like be present and not be so
Yes.
attached to
Yung tipong
certain
stuck up ka dun sa...
certain decisions you make even before it happens. So I try to keep a balance sa ganon. And first day, sorry, I digress.
No. That's
Yeah,
fine.
yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Kasi pati ako na-excited. Okay, may rehearsal, may character development, and then finally, andito na yung mga characters. Para kang bumili ng gear online, di ba? Makikita mo yung gitara, tapos pag wow, ito yun.
Yeah.
Okay.
It is sacred. Like the shooting days, it is like, and it's also the most rewarding part of filmmaking when you see things come to life.
Yes.
Like on that day when you shoot it, and it's always still like it makes me happy, during set. Yeah.
So eto na, how many days ang shooting?
It was 2 weeks. And it was in 2 countries. It was in Germany
And
and in
Barcelona.
Spain.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So, yun nga Chloe and I have this theory that, because of course, yung mga actors ko, they are very established in Europe. So, I think that part of, the reason why they joined like a small film like ours is out of curiosity. They're like, you're making a film in 2 countries in like 2 weeks and with 2 months pre-production. Is this really going to happen? Can you pull this off? So, curiosity lang talaga eh.
Which worked in your favor, by the way.
which worked in my favor. So,
okay. So now, logistics. Sino nag-isip ng logistics? Si Chloe or ikaw? Or si Hela? Or sinong...
I think it was both Chloe and I, but of course, like I give her all the, props because she really, we found the right people to kind of help. We found like a great line producer in Germany that like was really able to help us with logistics. And then sa movie, well, I don't want to ruin it for those that haven't seen it, because sometimes when you know about like the making of, it's like when you watch it, baka they it takes away from their experience. But just a fascinating thing about the film is that the interiors were done in one house. Everything was in one house except for the exteriors. Of course, we really had to go to Barcelona.
So may yung set designer mo had to be creative enough.
Yeah, we rented like one house which had 3 floors, and then the basement, that was like the club scene. But of course, you don't see it, and that was also like the what do you call this, where do you shoot guns?
Oh, firing range.
Oh, the range also they had to, and then the second floor was the room, their room in Barcelona. The first, the top floor was like the room in Berlin. So it made things easy, especially for a 2-week shoot.
So shooting days would be spent, interiors would be spent there.
Yeah,
diba?
yeah. So we just moved floors to,
And that says a lot about creativity. Dahil, di ba, ang galing. Ang takeaway, ang dami kong takeaway sa'yo rito. Like, ang takeaway is, hindi excuse ang budget eh. Gagawan mo talaga ng paraan eh.
You have to.
Without sacrificing the creative process, by the way, and the quality.
Yeah.
Diba? So finally, tapos na ang, ano ang difference ng first shooting day sa last shooting day?
I think dun sa last shooting day, kasi we were all very comfortable with each other. It felt like family already, like how we are here, 'di ba? Pagka nag-get together tayo, parang it doesn't feel like work anymore, 'di ba? Parang you become like instant friends. And that's how it felt like with us. Siguro nung first medyo may pagka stiff pa, but by the time like we were already like vibrating on the same wavelength by the end of it all. When I yelled, "It's a wrap," because it was in the beach. The last scene was at the beach, and everyone, we didn't talk about it, we didn't plan it. I just yelled, "It's a wrap," and everyone started to drop everything they had and ran to the sea. Ran to the sea to swim, And we didn't talk about it. We just looked at each other and then just went. It was
ito ang hindi alam ng mga tao. So it's a wrap, lahat excited, takbuhan, ganyan-ganyan. Si Direk, of course, tatakbo sa una, but then again, once the wrap happens, the end of one process is the beginning of the next process.
Yes, yeah.
And this is the lonely part of filming. Oh, it's a happy part, but a lonely part also, because now it's all on you and your editor. Kung may editor ka, but that's all you now, diba? This is where your decisiveness comes into play.
Yeah.
And every film you make actually is a culmination of your upbringing. Kung what falls on the cutting room floor or what stays sa film and all that. Was it hard?
Yeah, I think it's always one of the most difficult parts of, because you fall in love with your scenes, with everything, and then you have to say goodbye to it. And that's why I understand when they say killing your babies. So I go, okay, you gotta kill your baby. Someone said that, to me, editing. And I'm like, what do you mean by that? And then, I was on the cutting floor and I was like, I cannot watch this, I cannot watch you, like, just edit that out, what we shot for 2 days, and just remove it. Pero all for the bigger,
bigger
for the
picture
picture again. It's like, okay, what
di mo ba napapansin ditong pinag-usapan like analyzing yun, di ba parang gano'n no? Okay.
It was just so difficult, and I think yun nga what I learned, my takeaway from this project was like I really have to let go more and let a few days or months even pass before I go back to the editing room, kasi right when you go edit right after you shoot the film, you're still so in love with it. So you need some sort of detachment before you get back on the cut, so that you feel, less devastated when you have to say goodbye to the things that don't contribute to the overall picture.
Did you work with an editor?
Yes.
Was he supportive of the decisions that you made? Or would he suggest also?
I think we were having arguments almost. Kasi syempre, he is an editor, so he's also a storyteller.
Yes.
So there was like a clash of, and then you always have to kind of find the balance. Like at what point at what point is this not my voice anymore? It's not my movie anymore, but at the same time, you also have to balance it with giving him enough trust to know that, what his suggestions are is also in the best interest of that, in the best of interest in that project. And I'm still having this issue kind of reconciling both. Yeah.
Alam ko ba't ako nakangiti? Because bago magsimula yung project, Chloe had to trust you.
Yeah.
Ngayon, post-production, ikaw naman ang, oh my God.
Yeah. And I think I still am pretty, attached to the script. So that's what I had such a hard time letting go of, that we had to follow the original script, because of course sometimes it takes on
it's
a
your
life
story.
of its own. Yeah, so it's still that, and up to this day I still even don't know if the final cut is what would have been.
Is that the reason? Is that the reason other directors have a director's cut?
Probably, yeah. So they could keep their, I mean, of course, I'm not comparing myself to them, but yeah, and yeah.
Tapos pag nakikita ko rin, iniisip mo parang, oh my God, ang daming mong babies na pinatay and all that. So now, eto na yung produkto. First screening. So private yon, kayo lang muna yon, di ba? Did you invite the actors to watch it? No.
I think yung official screening.
Pero kayo, nung una, sino ba una? Kayo lang muna ni na Chloe ang nanood?
Yeah, oo.
Just the two of you? Kasama si Hela, kasama si Ana, kasama si
kami lang,
Andrew?
I think kami lang muna ni Chloe and the editor. Oo.
Who scored? Who music?
Oh, I made sure that German artists, there was an American artist, and I also made sure na may Filipino artists on board. Yeah.
So now, eto na, pinapanood nyo na yung movie.
Mm-hmm.
How did it resonate with you, knowing full well it's not in your vernacular? It's in a different language. Tapos, this is not your first film, but for some reason, ito pala yung magpapa-green light na, oh, everybody look at Diane. Ito yung, what was going through your head nung pinanood mo na to for the first time?
For the first time, there was still a lot of excitement and innocence, I would say. I didn't really think about the technical aspects of things. I was just in awe, oh my God, we finished the project. I'm so proud of myself. That's it. I'm so proud of us that we actually even, saw this through the end. So that was my first thought. But of course, going, Chloe, kunyari, she bihasa na yan sa film industry.
Yeah.
So what she saw were mistakes and not really, it's,
right. Kumbaga siya, parang,
okay, yes, we
ito
did.
dapat pwede mong ayusin to na ganyan, ganyan.
And then we took on that approach. So every time we would watch the film in the editing room, we would find mistakes. And it's so difficult also to assume this kind of perspective.
Kasi binuksan mo yung reticular. Once nakabukas na yun, once pinoint out na ni Chloe sa'yo yun, tuwing dadaan doon, nakikita mo na
Tsaka tuloy-tuloy na yan, okay, what are the mistakes that we could fix?
Right.
So it was not appreciating anymore. It was more criticizing your own work. And then it gets to a point. And I'm sure I was talking to Audrey before that it's the same with music. When you masters and you listen to it over and over, there comes a point where I cannot watch this anymore. I hate this.
Diba? Tapos, when is enough? Diba? Parang,
parang and so, I also read somewhere, I don't know if I'm quoting right, or if it's even the right person, David Fincher said, a movie is never finished. You just, just have to kind of sort of move on. I'm sure that's not the exact word, but yeah, that's precisely
keep moving forward, diba?
Yeah, kasi you just have to put a deadline to it. Otherwise, it would be forever. You will never be satisfied. I hope there is one day where I'm okay, this is it, But until, you're always, even when I watch it now, I should have done this instead, or maybe we could do it a different way.
Pero hindi ka naman apologetic by saying na, panoorin mo to, pero wag mo titignan tong part na to kasi itong part na to medyo may mali ako dito, ganyan. You just keep it to yourself, right?
No, sometimes I'm very open about my vulnerabilities when I tell them this is my first official feature, so please don't judge, based on, don't be so harsh, or just keep an open mind when you watch this film. Try to give it a chance, and not, because I know how critical I am of my own work. So maybe that also helps because whatever criticism I get from other people, it's like, yeah, I've heard that, but worse from myself.
Now, guess what? Excited. Tapos si Chloe rained on your parade. She was just being pragmatic
She was
about
doing
it.
her job.
Doing her job. So ngayon ikaw from being to being... And then now, ang next step, it has to be showcased.
Yeah.
So what were you like going into different festivals, knowing full well na, oh shoot, ang daming technical errors. But then again, a technical error has nothing to do with the story. There are technical errors. But ano yung emotion mo going through that?
Super mixed emotions.
Tanda mo, wala pang award at this point. This is zero award. So were you as excited as you thought you would be nung pinapasok mo na yung...
The thing was, the very first festival where we premiered the film was at Hofer Film Tage, and it was one of the most prestigious festivals in Germany. So kumbaga parang Sundance nila dun yun.
And alam mo na kagad yung mga pinoint out ni Chloe sa'yo. So dala mo na ngayon yun,
yeah,
diba?
so it was a mixture of like, like trepidation. Like, should I show this to these people who are used to watching like these great films?
Exactly.
Like, because that film festival, they discovered Vem Vendors, for example, and like the big, the big director. So to be just, like just part of something that was that big was like already
yung
such a...
makasali ka na, parang top board na for that moment.
So parang wow, I'm even part of it. So there was excitement and thrill of it, but at the same time, yun nga na parang doubts also like, am I worthy to even be part of this? But just at the same time, I was also happy because some of my actors, actually the lead, like Niamandi, this was his first film, the one opposite Carl, Yannick. So for me, like for him to have that platform and that premiere was special to him, and they give me the confidence.
Now, was it the first time for Sina Yannick to see the movie at this festival?
No, they've seen it already before because Yannick also sort of co-produced the film. So
what was his comment, si Yannick?
Si Yannick, of course, was like super. He's always very happy, and he's also super grateful that was the reason that we became friends, because we became friends, almost practically family after
that,
working together. So he was very supportive because he's big. He doesn't even need additional kind of what do you call this? Promotional or
kumbaga this was parang labor of parang passion din niya to do something and cross it out of his.
Yeah, because he's commercially successful. He does films for Paramount. He even does like, he does supporting film for like a Hollywood film. So parang,
Parang mo sinabi sila
Aga
Mulak na gano'n, nag-indie film, parang gano'n.
So that's how it felt like. Pero yun nga, there's also that pride in like, hey, he believed in this project enough to want to be part of something that was that was below his pay grade,
so
to speak.
So ito na, festival na. Pinapalabas na. Naririnig mo na yung reaction ng audience. What was going through your head and in your heart?
I was just, nervous. But I think when I came out, I think a lot of people were surprised. First of all, that it was written by a woman, and because it's about two adolescent men. And that I was not German, I was Filipina. And
so lahat sila parang, what?
Oh yeah, they were like, what? Like, because some of them even cried on, in the film. So it resonated with them. And then for them to find out that it was a person that was not, that made the film touch them, it was very kind of fulfilling. So, yun yung mga reactions that, I mean, of course, there are also like other, negative reactions, but this reaction, like, these kinds of reactions are what makes everything worth it. Na parang, I was able to break that barrier of, getting through people that are, not our people, but,
beyond borders na
beyond borders. Yeah. And that was precisely the reason why I went into filmmaking in the first place, to unite people through storytelling, and then kind of proving that despite all our differences, that we are all essentially the same, at least our emotional journeys. And so, and with that kind of reaction, it's sort of like, kind of, it...
Galing.
Yeah. Yun.
So tapos, ayan na. Did this win an award dito sa unang Festival.
It was a testament. Yun, sorry. For Hofer, they wanted to nominate it actually, pero they asked me, is it a German production? And that dun kami na disqualify because it was a Philippine production. So ang dun kasi it's very it's a German festival.
May standards din sila, di ba? They have to follow the qualifications and all that stuff.
Yeah,
also.
so I mean, of course, they were happy that they got the world premiere of the film, but it couldn't have been nominated because it was a German festival.
Yes.
And they had to they had to nominate German produced films.
Right. Pero positive, di ba? Promising, yung ganon.
Yeah.
So finally, sinali mo na sa iba. When the first award came in, what was going through your head kay ni Chloe? Sa'yo muna. Do you still remember that?
I forgot. It was the first one. I don't know if it was in Spain or in Vegas. I think best director or best feature. So it was already the biggest award.
Yeah.
And so I was like, I mean, I couldn't explain it. I was like, did they make a mistake? Did they just call out my name? Yeah, so it was like, but of course we were happy that it was, recognized at least, because it was a sentiment that was shared by not only those that were working in the film, but it was a multinational, so everyone that was representing the film also represented where they were from. So it was like a huge proud moment for all of us.
Of course.
And yeah.
If I may ask, is your mom and dad still around?
My mom passed away.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. My dad, of course, he's seen the film. But every time I make a film, like, they see in the credits, like, it's for mama. So, it's always dedicated to her. Because she was the first person that ever believed in me. Of course, like, I was young. I'd be like, I want to be a writer. I want to be a director. And no one was like, no, that's not going to happen. But my mom was like, of course, no, you can do this.
Gaano ka importante yon yung pagbigay ng validation ng magulang sa anak? How important was it for you?
I think it was the most important, opinion. I mean, she was the most important person, back then. She still is, it's very important. But at that time, what she said was law. So for me, so if she said something, if she supported me, everything else was, just
Galing,
noise, But if my mom said I could do this, I will do it,
Are you like that to Ion?
Yeah. Sometimes kasi my dad was, there. It's like
iyak silang dalawa eh.
Na parang, okay, let's also be practical, So both those voices kind of come out with Ion na parang, no, I want you to pursue your passions, but let's try to do it in a logical way, Like,
Ganun ka?
Let's try to also approach it in a way that
But,
makes sense.
Direct, you were not logical at 17.
Yun nga eh.
You were not logical
Hypocrite,
at
I'm a hypocrite.
31, 32. Why the sudden, is it maternal instinct na you're protective of your son?
Of course. And no, but it was also tried and tested that sometimes if you find a way, there is a way. So try lang
Pero
to
ba't mo
balance.
sinasabi maging logical?
In a logical way. Hindi kasi syempre, it's a difficult industry to navigate also, 'di ba? So
Says
you have
who?
to balance. No, but if you follow your passions and you're good at it, which he is
Yes.
naman, it will make sense.
Ito na,
It will make sense and it does make sense.
Ito na yung hard question. Kung nilagyan mo ng logic yung 16, 17-year-old Diane, would you have moved forward as fast as you thought you would?
I think the conviction made it logical. Sobrang strong nung conviction na parang okay.
Anything is possible.
Yeah, oo, wala na. Yun na yung logic ko.
Pero hindi mo naisip na ikaw lang ang nakakita nun? Because yung mga tao sa paligid mo.
Ako lang ba? Oo eh. Yung conviction lang talaga, feeling ko.
So paano pag si Ion
grabe ka-powerful eh.
Yes, paano pag yung anak mo may conviction, nataliwas sa conviction mo?
No, I mean, I believe in him, and I believe he can achieve
Right.
things because he's very, very
He is
talented. I
very,
mean,
very
I
talented
am so
talaga.
proud,
Yes.
you know.
I saw him perform.
Yeah.
Pero let's say may ginawa siyang direksyon na yung tatay niya or nanay niya hindi gagawin yung direksyon na yon. Tanda mo, nangyari sa'yo yun. Ha?
Yeah.
Kasi ang finish line mo is you're self-made like your parents before you. Pero yung kinuha mong journey is different from your parents before you.
Yeah. And yeah, so I guess like the most you could do anyway as a parent is just to guide.
Nakakatakot, no?
Oo, advice, but they also have like the prerogative, except yung kunyari, brush your teeth or do these things. Alam mo yun, fix your bed. Yun, kailangan
Oh my
gawin.
God.
Kailangan lang talaga i-train. Pero in terms of like these big, baka kasi sabihin niya na parang pag narinig niya, no, that's not true. You tell me what to do. You know?
Right.
But those little things.
Oh,
lang.
yung
Pero
training.
when it comes to life decisions, that choosing who your partner is, choosing what kind of career to take,
Yes.
choosing how to live your life, I give him that freedom I would want to give him that support, you know. Whatever your definition of success is for you, whatever that is, I will support it. And whatever your definition of that happiness is, I will believe you, you know.
Galing. Now, without really being very reflective, do you find yourself repeating yourself only being a better version of yourself? Or do you find yourself reinventing yourself?
Wow. Galing naman ng question mo.
Born out of the story that you told me. Yun ang,
Yeah. I guess both. I'm sorry, I'm quoting Wayne Dyer, but like
Go.
I heard this from one of his talks. Like I just heard it and then I said like, wow. He said like nobility is not being better than anyone else, but being better than who you used to be. And I think, you know, changing yourself, you know, like making yourself better is also in a way reinventing yourself because you're
Yes.
not that person
Anymore.
that you were. And I'm not saying I'm so not perfect. Like I've done fucked up things in my life.
pero siguro
you
yung,
know?
yung pag-admit nun, no?
Yeah, just the acknowledgement that you, yeah.
Parang yung pinag-usapan natin
Oo,
kanina off-cam, di ba? Na,
oo.
paano tayo nagbago?
Oo.
Siguro it's raising our hands and admitting
That you fucked up,
that
you
we
know.
fucked up, yeah.
Yeah, and that's important din kasi just to let everyone know that there are second chances, you know, like some people can change and I'd want to believe that because if I don't then I'd be like, yo, fuck, it's hopeless, you know.
Huwag mo na gawin, di ba? Dahil nahusgahan ka na.
Oo, tapos na. Life is over because I did one bad thing
Yes.
and it's all over. No, that's not how it should be because I gave myself a second chance. So should you and so
Was
should...
it easy to forgive yourself, to give yourself a second chance?
No, I'm still trying to. Like it's a work in progress, you know. It's not like you've forgotten all the bad things you've done
Yeah.
and it's not like every decision you make right now is also like right. You still make wrong decisions even now that you think you've become better. You realize like, shit, I still do. You know, you fall back, you know, but that's life. You just also
Yung yung vulnerability. Do you are you kasi nung remember when you were pregnant and struggling, you had to put up a front.
yeah.
Kahit umiiyak ka na sa bahay o sa taxi o kung saan man, you had to be strong in front of other people. Do you find yourself having that facade still or are you more open to being vulnerable in front of people?
Yun nga, it took a while to learn that vulnerability is strength, you know, and it's also...
Say that again, please. Sa mga babaeng nakikinig at mga lalaking nakikinig.
Yun, vulnerability, I think, is also strength.
I agree.
Yeah, and being able to acknowledge and admit that it's hard to do, but it's something that you have to do first before change can actually happen. That's that humility to admit to yourself that, hey, you're not fucking perfect. You're you know, you fucked up, you were a loser. So, you know, it's these things, you have to have that before you could actually change. Because you cannot change if you resist acknowledging that, you know,
Yeah.
you know.
Where does gratefulness play?
gratitude and sincere, being apologetic for the things that you've done.
Did in the
Being sorry and being thankful. These are like very important things that I'm still learning to this day. Like being grateful for the things that you have. And kasi it's hard also in this business, you want to keep evolving
Yes.
and being better. So how do you become grateful when you notice the bad things? Like, okay, this could be better. Does that mean that I'm not, does that mean I'm not grateful for
nga,
this?
no?
Oo, di ba?
No,
But
sometimes, how critical can you be to the point na makakalimutan mo na, teka muna, I'm supposed to be grateful because I have a film.
Yeah.
Diba?
But how can you also better yourself if you're not aware of like the mistakes and how you can improve?
So may balancing
May
act.
balance, oo. Again, kailangan calibrate. Like, do not forget, like, to be grateful pa rin for, what you have while still simultaneously also kind of trying to achieve better.
So now, at this point in your life, you're a mom, you're an award-winning director, and I'm very proud of you, by the way.
Thank you.
And the awards still keep coming in. And for all we know, si Ion is, destined to be great in the future, di ba? And si Ellie, who is your business partner, shout out to you, Mr. Ellie Buendia. I mean, he's doing good also, health-wise, career-wise.
Yeah.
Di ba? Parang, ano pa kailangan mo? Ano pang hinihingi mo?
Oh, yun
right?
nga eh. Yeah. So, I always have to remind myself, actually, sometimes kasi you tend to be ambitious. I want to make this next film in this, or I want to make a next concert, like a bigger one. Pero, yeah, you just balance it with acknowledging na, oh my God, I am already so lucky, to even, have all this. And I really am. Like, if I don't achieve whatever there is, I still hope that I do. I'm not going to lie. But, I'm already grateful for what I have. And it can coexist.
Yeah.
It can coexist. You can be grateful and you could keep that feeling while also still trying to, like better yourself. Diba? There's always room for improvement in
Yes.
all aspects, in all
Yes.
departments of our life. Yeah.
Ikaw ba, are you done with the whole settling down thing?
Settling down.
Like family, should I say domestication? Maybe not, but you're all over the world eh. Hindi nga kita nahuhuli minsan.
Oo.
To the point
Ako
na,
din.
di ba parang, magkaiba tayo ng time zone pa ako. Okay, sorry.
Oo nga.
But what's in store for you? What's in store for you in the next 5 years, 10 years?
In the next 5 years,
Yeah.
I hope to find like kahit headquarters, like somewhere where I feel, But right now, I don't think, because I've always been wanting this forever, But then I'm traveling around, so I'm also learning that to be grateful for this kind of lifestyle because
Yes.
it allows me to spend time with my family here in America
Yes.
because they're all spread out
Yun na nga eh.
everywhere.
You have
So,
siblings here and in the Philippines.
and in the Philippines, and I have friends in Europe also and work. So I just have to just be grateful that I have a life that allows me to have all those experiences, without limitations, with that freedom. And I guess settling down and finding cheesy again. It's in your heart. Home is where your heart is. So
Alam mo
this is home, there is
Yes.
home.
Hindi mo pwede sabihin cheesy kasi because
It's true.
it's true. And nakikita namin sa'yo, and sabi ko nga sa'yo, yung you being you, na-inspire ako because it gives me hope for my daughter, and I bet yung mga women
Cassidy.
listening and watching, si Cassidy, watching, when they hear your story, it's okay to make mistakes. Diba? Dads, don't be too hard on your daughters. Moms, don't be too hard on your daughters. Like, validate your daughter that she can be destined for greatness.
Yeah.
Following dreams.
Yeah.
Second chances. Ang dami. Advice to our listeners who are on the fence and indecisive and feeling na wala silang ginawa kundi magbigay ng excuse. Ano advice mo sa mga taong katulad ni JJ? Sabay ka na.
Wala na akong bibigay na advice kay JJ. Dapat si JJ magbigay ng advice sa akin.
Pero what advice, what advice can you give people who are scared to follow their dreams? Oh, Jake, una mo yan. You know?
Go for it.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
The only thing stopping you is you.
Wow.
So, no, I mean, if I can do it, you know, I mean, sino ba ako? Alam mo yon, parang nakayanan ko nga, minsan nga, parang, uy, nagawa ko yun, nakapunta akong Germany, tapos nagawa. Parang, everyone and anyone can. The only thing that differentiates us from the other maybe is like opportunity. But opportunity can be created. We are the creators of our destiny. And I hope more people believe in that, not just on a conceptual level, but like really feel it. Because once you tap into that resource or that like thing in you that is in every one of us, you will find, and you know, you define your own success.
Yes.
Whether you have like 100 fans, even one fan, that's already successful, diba? So like, express yourself, you know. I mean, I'm not saying like that there are no excuses, but there are ways, especially with the technology right now. You can like do film
on your
iPhone. You know, you can create stories, you could collaborate with everyone, you could find new talents and not necessarily have to look for already established ones. So and eventually, you know, if you're, you know, dedicated to, you know, your passions, and you find that voice that makes you original, that makes you unique, it is bound to find another soul that resonates with it. Because like I said, we're all connected.
I know, no?
So if whatever you feel so
I know.
personally, you know, I'm sure someone else in this world feels that too. So you
just
can
have to find,
yeah, you can find your niche, you can find your people, and yeah, it's just, yeah, and don't compare your, you know, successes with those of other people. If I compare myself with David Fincher or like, Christopher Nolan, like, you know, I would stop doing things, you know. They're the kind of movies that when you watch, I don't want to be a director anymore. You know, like they're too good, you know, like who am I? But, you know, but the kind of movies or stories that I try to do and make are like those that resonate with me, those that are personal to me, and that's what sets it apart, I guess, from the other. And you know, the point is to find other people that also feel alone, feel that they're the only ones going through this, and then realizing like someone thought of that, so someone went through it too, you know. And I'm not alone. You aren't. No one is.
Ladies and gentlemen, Direk Maria Diane Ventura. Galing! Galing! Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you so much.
You are
It was
such
really
an
fun.
inspiration.
So are you guys. I'm so happy to be here.
Galing!